Part 3 of Where Did Ann Marie Kelley Disappear To? A mother of 4 who was last seen April 15th, 2008 in the Beatrice, Philly area. She was last seen about 10 o'clock in Beatrice in the morning, seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. There's suspected foul play. There's suspected just disappearing. You name it, it could almost fit into this scenario. We aren't going to get into all the drama that was going on at the time and everything, although it is important for motives and stuff like that. What we are doing is we are sonaring bodies of water looking for her 91 Plymouth Voyager minivan that went missing with her. Where do you hide a 91 Plymouth Voyager minivan, wood paneled, Grand Caravan for 18 years? Bodies of water is the fastest, the easiest. So we are hitting those. We have taken what you guys have told us, and we've gone out and we've searched new places that were also searched only by divers, but we've sonared them, looking for things that are unnatural as stories unfolded. So sit back and watch this episode. If you haven't seen part 1 and 2, you can go watch them also. If you know anything at all about Ann Marie Kelley, contact the Gage County Sheriff's Office. At another wildlife management area, sonar bobbers out there, 75, 80 feet, 5 foot is all. Went ahead and threw in multiple spots along here, so we're going to rule this one out as being able to conceal a vehicle. Another nice reservoir here. It could be deep enough to hide a vehicle if you could get it out far enough. Some locals here told me that it was really dry last year. So I'll mark it down, and if we're in the area again with the boat, I'll probably go ahead and just throw it in for the fun of it. On to the next spot. I'm at the Holmesville power plant dam bridge. There's a private boat ramp. I don't know what this was like 18 years ago. Got my sonar bobber out right there. I'm reading 3.5, 4 foot deep. So we can probably mark this spot off on the big blue. On to the next. The Holmesville Dam, and looks like the power plant turned into a lodge now. Pretty cool. Checking depths here. That pit is a long ways down. Doesn't look very deep. Not going to throw the sonar bobber down into it. I'm trying to get permission to do these quarries that have any sort of significant depth to them. Right across the street from it. Wow. Big quarry over here. They're still mining out of it. It's a good looking quarry. This one I believe needs sonared. I'm down at that pit at the end of Dogwood. About 30 feet in, I'm reading 18 foot deep. So this thing definitely could hide a car. Welcome back today. Today we'll be scanning, sonaring a sand pit in search of a 91 Plymouth Voyager minivan that belonged to Ann Marie Kelley, who went missing April 15th, 2008. This place has never been checked before. Number one, accessibility. They can't get big boats in here with all the equipment. So we are hitting this spot today, as my goal is to clear this one and another one similar to this out. Maybe through us all working together, we can find that next piece of the puzzle to give to law enforcement so they can find Ann Marie Kelley. There's the shore right there. And now we just dropped off to 10 foot. 8. Three and a half foot deep right now. But watch this. 10 foot. Here's my 20-foot mark, 40-foot mark. 15. 20 foot. 29 foot. 29 foot right now. Wow. This is definitely deep enough close offshore. Some more view of the sonar. My boat is this line right here. The black part is water. This is our depth, 14 feet. This is 20 foot deep. This is to the shore. This is the shoreline over there. And this is out there. Things floating like this. This could be a school of fish. Surprisingly pretty clean. I expected to see a lot of trash, tires, wheels, possibly even a couple junk cars down here. But this one, I'm surprised. I'm not quite half done with it yet, and I want to make sure I hit everything in all the different angles. Here's an item right here. A car is going to be pretty boxy. A vehicle. Here's a hump of sand in the center over there, putting out a big shadow. That tells you it's got height. So we'll want to scan on both sides of this, because something could hide in this shadow. Now we're narrowing, getting shallow, 5.5 feet here, as we bust through this next channel coming up. This south end has a pretty good drop off. Running right down to 30 foot constant for this back area. A few schools of fish. Can't see my shoreline either way because I am too far away from the shore. Got to scan it off like track lanes. See things suspended here. Looks like a couple groups of fish, bait fish. Big one there. Had a weird shadow that I wanted to turn back and look at right here. It gave a nice shadow like a car. So you got to hit them from all these different angles. I've got something here. I do not know what that is. It's rectangular. Whoa. I need to check that out. I've scanned over that shape from all sorts of directions many times, and my conclusion, it is not a car. There is part of an old tank over here sitting in the water. By measurements, it doesn't appear that it could be big enough. So it could be another part of one of those tanks. But that's why you have to look at this from all different angles. You can be clear as day on one picture. In the next angle, you can't see it. You've got to cross grid on this stuff. Wind's picking up, so I'm going to head back out to the open and start doing some long grids again. Did bring the gas motor along in case I wear the trolling battery down. I knew it was going to be 10 to 20 mile an hour winds today, but I didn't know how much, how long it'd take me to do this area, how many items I'd want to turn around and go back on. I'd have to tote the motor down too, but it weighs the same as a deep cycle battery. I use a deep cycle battery for the sonar. Now we're back up to 23 feet. Let's go out to 60 foot, 70 foot wide either side. So I'm covering 140 foot widthwise. Here's our shoreline, mere 30 feet over, and we're at 30 feet deep. So somebody could come out here, just chill, have an accident. There's a lot of possibilities. We don't know exactly how the van disappeared, how she disappeared. We just know it hasn't been found on land, so we are searching in the water. Down scan on the bottom half of the screen. Look at all the fish there. Wow. This lake here, the sand pit, was surprisingly clean. Didn't even see one tire in there. I did find a shape that was about the size, rectangular wise, as a van. I went ahead and scanned it from multiple directions, and that's what's so important, is then I came to the conclusion that it was not a vehicle down in the sand. We will be now moving on to another location and hopes to find Ann Marie Kelley's 91 Plymouth Voyager minivan. Still hot and muggy out. Everything fits in here. We were asked, how come, why don't we call some chaos divers, Adventures with Purpose, about this? Well, years ago, technically about 3 years ago, Adventures with Purpose was in the area working on a similar case. That's how I was able to clear out some of the bodies of water, is because I watched their video, and they are great, great guys, great group. Jared, those guys, lots of good groups out there that dedicate their lives to helping people find their loved ones. They were asked if they would take on the Ann Marie Kelley case, and they said, no, we don't do those type of cases. If it, it's possibly considered a homicide. She left under possible suspicious circumstances. It could go either any way. You think of a scenario, it probably could apply to this. And so yes, they are doing a great job helping other people. Check out their channel, Adventures with Purpose. I have learned a lot of my skills from watching them over the last 4 years. I don't have a ton of experience out here, but I have a mind that I'm able to grasp what they're doing and the logic behind it and apply it to the lakes here in Nebraska. Casting sonar out on this watershed silt retention pond. It's a good size area, but I'm getting out there 80 foot and I'm only 4.5 feet. I know on Google Map it showed that this was dry some of the years, and I watched the water line down, so there's no way of hiding a vehicle in here. Sometimes I don't even have to cast the sonar in. This big watershed back here, the owners have lived out here for a while, not real long, but the water level was really, really low the last few years. So low that when their friends came out to fish, it wasn't even worth fishing. So we can easily mark that off just by communication, going up and talking to people. So on to the next. All these silt retention ponds, all these have to be checked. People will be like, oh, it's not that deep. I can show you a situation where a car hid in a silt retention pond for 23 years in the middle of a town, and it was only hidden by 1.5 feet of green water. This one here, we're running 3.2 feet out there. So I'm going to do a few more casts and we'll probably mark this one off. 3.5 feet, 3.5 feet, another one up there, 3.5 feet. This is kind of like a senior living neighborhood. I'm guessing they only made them so deep so if somebody fell in, all they had to do was stand up. But this is how we clear 6 more out. 5 foot deep, but thank you technology, I went back on Google Maps, and a few years ago it was dry and part of the shoreline was actually exposed, so that lowers it a couple more feet, which would have exposed a vehicle. 5.5 feet right there. Mark them off. Thanks to Google, I was able to go back on the maps and see that this one had partially dried up a few years ago, so I can minus a couple feet off my total depth measurements. This is that same type of like retirement community, and it can hide a vehicle. This community sits between where Ann was working at SCC and the school, the high school, where she might have been going to that day. So we don't know exactly what went on that day, so we're playing through every scenario and checking everything we can. So if I cast out to where the water line had receded according to Google Maps, I see it's 1.8 feet. So if I subtract 2 feet from the maximum distance here, can a vehicle, a minivan, hide in it? And that is a no. So on to the next one. I just put the casting sonar in 5 different lakes in this private community that has public access road in it. 5 foot is the maximum right now. According to Google, the water level has been lower. Minus that, move on to the next. Another spot, 2.4 feet, 75 foot out. I knew this was going to be shallow, but hey, we actually can say we actually came here and we can mark it off. And this one we're looking at 3 foot. Mark that off. Another spot, 4.1 feet deep, 75 foot off the boat ramp. So we can mark this one off. I'm down at a beautiful rock quarry. We're going to be doing some sonaring, some scanning, some metal detecting, possibly diving on targets. While working on the Ann Marie Kelley case. As you can see, this is the old road where the trucks would drive down into the quarry deep. From here to here is a 16-foot drop-off. So we're going to be methodically scanning this for any signs of something that's unnatural. Out on this quarry lake now, the owners have had it for 28 years and they always had a locked gate on it. They came out and inspected, and the gate hadn't been tampered with. They didn't look like any cars had made their way into this area. They did bring out some dogs at one time early on. I know a friend of mine who actually dove in this area towards an area that was used as a swimming hole a lot, but he says that the whole thing wasn't searched. So we're looking for things that are unnatural looking in the lake that we might want to dive on. Also keep an eye out for vehicles, but probability is that there isn't a vehicle in here, but we need to search it, and so everybody knows and we can get this marked off. Reading the sonar, we're looking at 13 feet deep right now. This is 20 foot deep, 30. This is water column. This is our boat line. This is the water depth. This is everything looking left of the boat and everything looking right to the boat. This is looking down. This is a moment in time, not live. I can scroll back and take a look at items that I think I need to look at again, and then circle around on them. Like that right there, that's a strange looking item, so we'll get that as we come back. So we're scanning at 100 foot wide. It's not a real big body of water. Looking for anything that's unnatural in here. Anything that's squares in shape, like cinder block shapes, vehicle shapes, things that just don't look like they should be in here. With all the rocks around here on the quarry edges, there's a lot of these rocks you see towards the shore down deep. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. I talked with the owner. They told me the history of the place, places they might have put some trees for fish habitat. We'll actually see some of that. Again, we see the rock formations under the water jetting out. Still 13 foot deep, just right offshore here. These shadows you have to hit from different directions because something can hide in this shadow. And this is an item right now I'm trying to look at. This item here. It doesn't look big enough, but it's the shape of something that's not natural. So out at this quarry, you can see that right away. It drops off deep. Right there is 13 foot deep. So you step into a foot of water and then you step into 12 more feet of water.
I think it down to the boat.
So we're going to scan along this this rock ledge. It's running anywhere from 10 to 18 feet deep here, and look for items that don't belong here. Looking at the bottom contour right now. And here's the rock wall. It said years ago this is an area that kids would jump off and go swimming, and this is an area that some dogs possibly got some hits on some stuff. So as we go along this edge, we are going to be looking at the bottom here for any items that don't look natural. Sitting at 12 foot deep right off this little rock cleft. Thank you for everyone's support and encouragement, feedback, messages, input, ideas. They're all valued. We listen to everything. We take that into effect. We prioritize things because of that. And we are hitting spots because you people are reaching out to us. Well, that's probably going to conclude part 3 of the search for Ann Marie Kelley. This quarry was one that was in question for quite a long time. So we got a lot of information on it. We got it scanned. We cross-gridded it, everything. This is where we leave it in your guys' hands. 2008, April 15th, Ann Marie Kelley from the Philly Beatrice area went missing, along with her 91 Plymouth Voyager minivan. If you guys know anything, contact the Gage County Sheriffs. If you have places that are private like this that you would like to have searched, get a hold of us. We'll come and search them. Only because of you guys helping out like that have we been able to hit so many spots so quickly. We are working with echo divers in Kansas City, Missouri, sharing an interactive map, a detailed one